Hello, friends from the manga world. My name is G,
And I'm Hector.
and we're here to talk about the May 2025 new releases for manga. Hector and I, we work for Penguin Random House, so the titles that you'll see today are those that we can sell internationally. Aside from this YouTube channel, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and on X at PRH International Comics, where you'll see us post some updates and news on those channels, so definitely check us out there. If you're new to us, we'll walk through what we typically do. We'll go through our picks. We'll go through volume ones, and then we'll leave you with the rest of the list that you don't want to miss out on. So definitely stick around for the rest of the video so you could check out what else is coming in the month of May. So we'll go ahead and
Yes.
get started with our picks for this May on sale.
Yes.
First
And
up
we
is
start,
Hector.
yeah, one of my
Mm.
picks. This is Love Between Fairy and Devil, novel, volume one by Ju Lu Fei Xiang. This is the novel that inspired a live action drama on Netflix. There's also a animated version at Donghua. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but it's the Chinese animation. And it is the story of, hold on, I lost my place in my notes. Sorry, sorry about that. I'll get there. So this is a story about Dongfang King Khan, um, an ancient demon lord who, after his defeat, has been resurrected, and he is obviously looking for revenge, and he decides to pick the first creature that he can find as a scapegoat, and the first thing that in front of him is this fairy called Xiao Langtua, and he tries to take over her body, but it goes wrong. He accidentally kills her body, and she kind of inhabits his body, so they're both inside of the same body, and they have this, obviously funny situation where they're trying to fight over the body, and then they start looking for going around the world trying to look for a body so one of them can move away. But then it becomes this story about enemies to lovers, right? It's this, awful situation. He's evil. She's sort of weak and mild mannered and all this, but they start having to live in this body together, and they have to get to know each other, and as you can tell, it's not a spoiler. It's right there on the title. There's going to be love between the fairy and the devil. I got to mention, I was watching the trailers for both versions, the animated and live action drama, and I was reading some reviews, and there are big differences between the adaptations and the novel. I'm really excited to like read the novel and also watch the adaptations. The way the animated version and the live action version works, they actually keep their bodies, but they swap. It's sort of a Freaky Friday situation, but they get into the same situation where they're trying to find a solution so they can get back to their own bodies. Um, and I didn't quite understand because there was no subtitles on the live drama trailer that I watched. I need to watch it with the subtitles. But I think instead of like because in this one, the novel, it was like kind of like a slap that killed her, and the animated and the live action, it looks like maybe they kiss and that's how they swap. I don't know. Anyways, so I highly recommend that you watch the K drama animated, but also read the novel. There's gonna be a lot of differences. A lot of the reviews and a lot of the comments that I read are they all tend to use a fun read, a beautiful story, a very good for fans of like fantasy, high fantasy historical dramas. So I think, yeah, that's all you need to know for to uh, want to read this to be attracted to it. And that's it. That's all I
Mhm.
need to say.
Speaking of two people,
Yes.
we have these coworkers. We have on and off work-life imbalance, volume one. So we have coworkers, Satoru and Akira, who outside of the office, these fashionistas don on and put on these outfits that basically transforms them into completely different people. One of them dresses as a Lolita boy, the other a punk girl. And so what happens is that they form this connection after hours, but they don't recognize who they are. It's like they don't even know that they work together. This is a lot of fun. It challenges gender norms as each does so in their own way. This manga builds on themes of like personal identity, social perception through a very encouraging lens, which is always nice to see and read about. And what was really cool is that initially this began as a series of short comics on Twitter. It
Mhm.
trended in Japan, garnered like 2 million or so views. It was insane around the world. And so eventually it came over here, and we're putting out these English physical releases in trade paperback, which is really cool. So, yeah.
And my next pick is the Merry Witches Live Volume 1, The Three Widows of Berlagvagil. I'm sorry. And the author is Minota. And this is from Tokyo Pop. It is a story about, well, first of all, is it's a story about Zoe, who is a fallen witch who sets out from the island she lives and finds this village, meets this man, and falls in love automatically, and they get married. But unfortunately, he gets killed in an accident right away, right after they get married. She's kind of lost in this new land, lost her newlywed husband, and she's trying to find, a meaning for her life. And all of a sudden, she meets Eliza, who is a cocinella, which it apparently is a beetle, a, like a personification of a beetle. I don't know. And then I can't wait to read more about that. But it happens that she also lost her husband, and Elisa's friend uh, Shishka also lost her husband, and the three wishes then become friends. They connected by this grief. At the same time, they start studying more magic to try to revive their husbands. It's a story, it is described as a sort of a fantasy story, obviously, with some grief and some sadness to it, but at the same time, a lot of funny parts, a lot of quirkiness. There's going to be a lot about the village where they live and the way they live. Um, but it's going to be these three different characters that find each other through their own personal tragedies and connect. And trying to do something incredible, they kind of, become very close. So I love these kind of stories. I love, seeing these stories where, the main topic is something bigger and extreme, but at the same time, at the core, the story itself is all about the characters and how they relate to each other. So this is, like I said, coming up in May. So I'm looking forward to this one too.
Mhm. All right, next up, I actually have a novel on this too. This
Yep.
is The Wizard by When Words Kill by Shiwu. This one is so interesting because we have basically this character who's tasked with investigating this brutal murder of a dozen people that happened overnight. And Detective Liang is surprised when this 18-year-old Cheng confesses to it and is sentenced to life in prison. So that's what happened. But then 7 years later, there's another bizarre murder that takes place. and basically this special ops team is sent to investigate, but they vanish. So brought back to investigate the case, we have Officer Lang, who's asked to speak to someone who might know something or who might be involved. And going back to that Chang, that guy from before, so they make an agreement between Chang and Officer Liang where the officer, okay, I'll take responsibility for him, in case he does anything nefarious. Um, but the officer takes him into his custody and says, okay, let's try to figure out what's going on. You seem to be involved. Let's work something out. But this young man who's in custody is more than he appears. In fact, he's a powerful wizard, and he doesn't. And knowing that for like him, it's seen more as like a curse than as a blessing. It's a curse to his bloodline to be a wizard. But it's really a story about how this really unlikely duo, this officer and then this uh, person who's committed of this crime, who at least confessed to a crime, has to come together to find the truth behind these murders that are happening. So again, coming out of Tokyo Pop, for all those fans who are into the mystery detective stories, this is it for you. And yeah, I found this really intriguing, and I really want to read it.
Yeah,
So
me too.
yeah, and
Yeah.
also the cover art looks. This is not the official final cover art, but it is very beautiful too.
Yes. Yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we continue with Spacewalking with You, number one. This is by Inuhiko Toronada. Noda. Sorry. And this is the story of Kobayashi, the guy on the right who is looking kind of bored. And he is a high schooler who's just like can't concentrate, can't concentrate on his studies, on work. The adults in his life, they're just like, this guy's just gonna be a dropout. He's worthless. He's just spacing out all the time. And one day, uh, this new kid arrived in this class called Uno, who's the guy who you see on the left. And he's a naive kid. He is energetic. He's happy all the time and like no worries. And Kobayashi uh, kind of helps him out from being getting scammed. And that sort of starts the friendship between them. And Kobayashi starts noticing that admiring that Uno has this, like I said, this attitude towards life that is just like very um, free, and he thinks that he's spacewalking all the time, and he fantasizes about uh, floating in the air, and he admires everything. Everything is positive about life. Everything around him is beautiful. And he sort of starts, Kobayashi feels himself starts sort of lifting from the ground as he is relating to Uno. I read through the reviews online for this book. This is another one where everybody called a beautiful story. This was a big surprise, sort of like exploded in Japan. This is it says that it was named top shonen series of the year in the Kono Manga ga Sugoi Japanese Industry poll. Um, it's a debut for this creator. It was nominated for the 17th Manga Taisho Award and broke 600,000 readers in Japan. This is a breakout sort of surprise in Japan. It is a beautiful story. I believe there's going to be four volumes. We have three so far in our schedule. There's going to be two more coming this year, aside from this one. Um, I gotta tell you that it's in some of the reviews. There's mentioned that Uno's character might be on the spectrum, or at least is one of those kids that is like very innocent, which is you know prone to get bullying and all, and sort of cast away by the other classmates, but at the same time, that's why he relates so well. Kobayashi relates so well to him. I think I mentioned this on the other title. I love these stories about it's more about the characters and your relationship and who they are, and very relatable. This is a slice of life story, but with a very beautiful relationship at the center of it, for from two outsiders. And I personally relate a lot to it. I think a lot of us will relate to it. So can't wait to read this for sure. Can't wait for this to be available in English.
I love the cover of this
Yes.
so much. Even
Hmm.
the title, because it looks like constellations being connected
Yes. Which I should
with,
have mentioned. It also has to do a lot with looking at stars and constellations. So I'm glad
yeah,
that you picked that out. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's a really striking cover. Yeah, it just makes you really want to read it.
Want to
It's
read
so
it?
attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, that's what first attracted to me. But as I kept reading about it, it
Hmm.
really uh, I really felt like I drawn to it and drawn to the story of it for sure. Yep.
All right, next up, completely different. We have
Yeah.
Wet Sand Volume 1 by Doyak, whose name is inspired by Tokebi, which is the Korean, basically a Korean goblin in a way.
Yeah.
And it's a short for that. Anyway, anyway, that's not what this is about. We have this character, um, basically there's this chance encounter between this photographer named Joe who comes in contact with this gorgeous Ian, and Joe falls hard for Ian. And there is such an attraction between the both of them, and Joe is really determined to break through Ian's indifference because he just has this, like, again, like he's aloof, like nothing, unbothered face about him. But Ian's like chilling. He's like, I'm not made for romance. You know, it is what it is. As he works to free himself from his past life as a high profile member of
Mhm.
a dangerous gang, and from TJ, his off again, on again, off again lover. There's this power struggle that threatens to erupt within the crime syndicate. So if Ian isn't careful, events basically might spiral out of control and drag him back into corruption and murder in the world that he's a part of. So it's a really intense three-way. You have Joe, you have Ian, you have TJ. Uh, who will it be? We
Yeah.
have this English paperback edition with a brand new translation. There's also going to be this fold-out poster featuring the art of Ian, which fans will love. And yeah, Doyak is actually immigrated to New Zealand, so she's a Korean um, New Zealand or New Zealander webtoon creator. And yeah, uh, I can't tell you, I don't know how to explain how popular this is for people who
Yeah.
don't know, because this was everywhere the last time I was in Korea, because there was plethora of merch. People go crazy over this title. It's a huge thing, especially if you're a BL fan. There's like season greeting calendars for them. There's like acrylic stands. There's like everything. There's such a loyal fan base behind this story and behind these characters to just give you a sense of how big this title is. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I
And
love that
then
I love that we're doing like we have other art books that we talked about before, but we have one for Apothecary Diaries, which as you probably know Apothecary Diaries blew up, not just because of the light novels and the manga adaptation, but also the anime that was so highly acclaimed when it came out. So we're really excited to be releasing this hardcover. It basically it includes art from the first 14 volumes of the light novel series. This is a jacketed hardcover. It has over 300 pieces of art um from the artist Shino, sorry, my pronunciation, Shinotoko, that's very wrong. um, Apologies for pronunciation there, but it includes like previously unpublished character designs, which is nice, promotional exclusive art in this collection. There's an interview with Shino as well. So yeah, this is something that for fans, you definitely don't want to miss out on because this is for every collector's dream. And yeah, it's going to be coming out.
Yes. And then we're going to continue showing you the volume ones that are coming in the month of May. We start with Bastard Webtoon Volume 1. This is the color manga comic release of Naver's Webtoon platform. Is now in print. In this suspenseful thriller, one young man shares his home with a serial killer. We continue with Betrayed by the Hero. I form a MILF party with his mom. Manga Volume 1. After getting kicked out of his first adventuring party, one man is ready to give them a mother of a time with this brand new MILF party. Get ready for hot moms and revenge in this fantasy isekai tale. And then Dinghai Fusheng Records, Novel Volume 1. This is the Hitame Boys love novels, originally released in Chinese, that inspire animation and the comic manga. Also available from Seven Seas. In an ancient China where magic has been nearly extinguished, two young men must work together to prevent the destruction of all life. Takes place in the same universe as Legend of Exorcism.
There's gonna be the regular version and also the special edition, which I'm gonna get because I
Yeah,
want
of
those
course.
inclusions. But yeah, just putting that out for everyone.
Just letting
Uh
everybody know how big of a fan you are.
yes. And then continuing on with volume ones, we have Emma and Capucin volume one. This is full colored beautiful coming of age story that focuses the themes of family, friendship, self confidence, personal growth through the lens of music and dance. We have from Tokyo Pub, I Can't Get Through the Night Alone. This is Japan in the 1950s. We have Shishiro, who's unable to sleep alone at night due to the traumas of war and lives a dull life. Seeing the opportunity to change his life, Shishiro suggests that he become a couple with Jim. Jim is smitten with Shishiro right away. So we have that going on, but there seems to be some obvious ulterior motives that are happening on Shishiro's part that you're gonna have to discover more by picking up this title and reading. And then I'll Forget You starting today, Senpai Volume 1. We have a reunion gone wrong when a woman reunites with her high school boyfriend at a matchmaker. Things do not go how she has imagined in the shoujo josei rom-com. We have this sharp-tongued stranger who is an entirely different person from the guy that she remembered in the past. Is this match doomed to fail? Dot dot dot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to
gotta read
read to
it.
find out. And continuing with number ones that are coming out in May, it's Imitation Play. Bar manager Nagisa has been in a one-sided love with his co-worker Haruma for 2 years. So when Haruma breaks up with his girlfriend, Nagisa assumes he doesn't stand a chance. When Haruma stops Nagisa from going home with his hookup, Nagisa suggests they go home together instead. Dot dot dot. There's no way Haruma could love Nagisa the way he loved his girlfriend. Is there?
Mhm.
Find out. And then love and pain in the palm of his hand, number one. Through sign language and acting, two young men seeking their places in the world discover a connection that transcends the spoken word. And third on this slide and last of the volume ones in May is Tune In to the Midnight Heart. Number one, in this new harem rom-com manga, a lonely rich kid's heart is stolen away by an angelic voice on a live stream. He only knows her as Apollo, and he dedicated himself to finding her, but his own haughty, rough edges are his worst enemies. From the creator of Senru Girls comes a high school farce set against the backdrop of Japanese voice acting, pop music, VTubers, and radio.
Mhm.
That's it for the
And
volume ones. Yeah,
that's it for the volume ones, and we'll end it here. But we'll leave you with the rest of the list. We're gonna exit, but you should stay on to watch more. So thank you for joining us on this video. Comment down below on what you are excited for, and we'll end there. Thank you, everyone. Again, check out our social media links below. Bye, everyone.
bye.